Hola and como estas to all you out there in the internet land. It is I, Rendito del Rio, the man of legend killing. But you already knew that. Alright, bullshit aside, just had to do it because somebody didn't believe me when I said I would, so I had to make a point here at the Casa D18 Studios. It's the Renegade of Wrestling, JJ Williams, here to give you yet another one of my Q&A shows. Gonna get right to it today from Facebook. Matt Adams says, "Hey JJ, with the Slammies coming up, who are your nominations for Superstar of the Year, and of course, who would win?" Well, Matt, my nominations for Superstar of the Year are John Cena, Sheamus, The Miz, CM Punk, and Dolph Ziggler. Two of them have been babyface pretty much the entire year. Two of them have been heel pretty much the entire year. And one was face about half the year and heel the other half. In all honesty, if Punk doesn't get Superstar of the Year, it's a crime. It's a crime against humanity because he has been a tried and true, tested champion, overcome all the obstacles. CM Punk should by and far be Superstar of the Year. He's on the cover of WWE 13, got his own DVD this year. He should be the Superstar of the Year. Don Marlin asks, what do you think of Jesse Ventura's TV show? And do you think Undertaker will ever go back to the American Badass / Big Evil gimmick? As far as Jesse Ventura's show, Don, I've never watched it. I'm not a big fan on conspiracy theories, except for where it, comes down to Little Jimmy and R-Truth. Those CON conspiracies are the only ones that I really follow. So I've never watched Jesse's show. I don't know how it is. Sorry about that. As far as Undertaker going back to the American Badass Big Evil gimmick, when I first heard that he had shaved his head, that's exactly what I thought he was going to do, was go back to the biker gimmick. But alas, when we saw him at Mania this year, he was still the dead man. Considering he's only a once or twice a year wrestler at this point, I don't think it would make sense for him to go back to the Badass. I really don't. So, I don't think he ever will, Don, sorry. Philip Favia, I hope I pronounced your last name right there, Philip. Says, question on the HBK Hogan SummerSlam match. I thought HBK should have won first of all, but I found his overselling a little bit blatant and offensive. I understand he may have not liked the way the outcome was booked, but doesn't he still have a responsibility to put on a good match? You're absolutely right, Philip. He does have a responsibility to sell the proper way and make his opponent look good. Why Shawn did what he did, don't know. You can say it's because he thought he should have won and Hogan just didn't want to put him over, so he oversold to make him look like shit. I don't think we'll ever know the truth on that one. And if we do, maybe it'll take another 12 years to come out like the screw job. But, I completely agree with you that he has a responsibility to put on a good match and make his opponent look good, because when you oversell, you run the risk of running, into injuries and problems like that. And first and foremost, you're supposed to take care of the other guy in the ring with you. So, NEF Miavia, let me know how to pronounce your name, because I have a feeling I keep butchering your name. NEFF Miavia from YouTube asks me, if Sting were to have signed to WWE in 01, how would I book it? And before I could even answer the question on the show, Nappy 1987 responded to the comment on YouTube by saying, have him be Undertaker's stalker instead of DDP. Nappy 1987, I completely agree with you. That's exactly how I would have done it. I would have had him be the stalker, or I would have had him come in at King of the Ring when Booker T did, since Booker T ended up being like the face of the alliance as far as the WCW guys were concerned. But having him be the Undertaker's stalker, I think would have been a great way to do it. Could have even had Sting watching, you know, down from the rafters like he always was, doing some spying inside the arena too, before we finally revealed that it was him. The only two problems I could have foreseen with Sting being the stalker is, one, I'm not sure if he had, you know, become super religious by that point, and being a stalker may not have sit well with his religious beliefs. And second of all, after just having the death of Owen Hart 2 years prior to 2001, I don't know if they wanted to have somebody in the company that's known for scaling down from the rafters. Something else to think about. Nappy 1987 then also submitted his own question. He says, "Hey JJ, do you think the quote no weapon strike to the head policy will remain a rule forever? With the deaths of NHL players due to having various concussions, is the health and safety more important than performing a better product?" I do think the health and safety of the talent need to come first and foremost, regardless of what sport it's in. Professional wrestling is a very competitive combat sport. Even though it is scripted, even though it is fake in a lot of ways, there's a lot of ways where it's not. So I think the health and safety of the performers needs to come first and foremost, and sadly I don't think it still does to this day. Do I think the no weapon strike to the head policy will remain a rule forever? No, because of the fact that I think there are certain occasions in matches and heated rivalries where weapon strikes add to the feud, and if you're trying to beat somebody down with, let's say, a steel chair, your first place to aim isn't going to be the back. You want to crack them from here to next Tuesday. You want to hit a home run out of Wrigley Field, you know, you're going for the head. I think that policy will remain a rule for the immediate future, for as long as WWE decides they want to continue putting on a PG product. Once they decide that they want to go back to a bit more edgier of a product and lift the PG rating, I think that rule will disappear though. Scotty Maxx says, "Hey JJ, UK question. What 5 things would I do to improve TNA? Less focus on the ex-WWE superstars. Focus more on your homegrown talent that have been there since the beginning. More focus on the X division. It's what makes you stand out from the competition right now. It's what made WCW stand out from the competition. They had their cruiserweight division focused on primarily in the first hour of the 3-hour Nitro. WWE has gotten rid of their cruiserweight title. You have something that is very much a cruiserweight, you know, style. Focus on it. Let it prosper. There was a time when TNA was carried on the backs of the X division. Legitimate champions. Champions people can actually believe. Okay? Joe as the TV champion is a step in the right direction. RVD as the X division champion is a step in the right direction. Hardy as the world champion, not so much. EY and ODB as the knockout tag champs, yeah, not so much. Get better tag teams. You know, you guys have had some great tag teams within the company over the past 10 years. America's Most Wanted, Triple X, Beer Money, Motor City Machine Guns, Generation Me. I know there's more Team 3D when they were together. I know there's more that I'm not thinking of right now, but it's like, y'all had some great tag teams. And now your tag team titles are Hernandez and Chavo Guerrero. Nothing against either one of those competitors. I like them both. And I think they're actually decent as a tag team, but should we just call them Mexican America or LAX? What should we call them? Seriously. And the last thing is less titles. Aside from Turning Point a week ago, name me the last time we saw the Knockouts tag titles defended on television. Exactly. The TV title is supposed to be defended every week. You know, get rid of the TV title. You know, get rid of the Knockouts tag titles. Go back to just having the World, X Division, Tag, and Knockouts. 4 titles. That's it. You had the Knockouts tag when you had a decent Knockouts division. You know, a lot of your Knockouts have been leaving, or their contracts expired, or you haven't signed them back. You know? Get rid of them. And the last question for today is from Simply Recommended. Hey JJ, if, and I mean a big if, CM Punk were able to defeat The Rock, Cena, and even Austin in 2013, how do you think the fans would react, and would it be good for the company? Thank you. I think it would be big for the company. I think it would prove that CM Punk is a legitimate threat to any championship at any time, and that CM Punk is the next breed of WWE superstar. We've thought for so long that it's John Cena, but John Cena has been the face of the company for going on 10 years. You know, Punk has only been in the company for not even 10 years. And he's only been the face of it for about the past 2. Maybe 3 if you go back to the Straight Edge Society. You know, Punk has still got so much left in him to give, be it as a heel or a face, that I think if he were able to beat The Rock, something that Cena didn't do, beat Cena again, and then meet the challenge of the original, you know, anti-hero, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and beat him, I think it would be big for Punk, and big for the company. It would definitely help the company turn a corner towards a more edgy product. Now, while we're speaking on CM Punk, I have to go ahead and address this. First and foremost, about a month or so ago, right here, in this chair, I sat alongside Jeff, and I basically was very nonchalant regarding the Jerry Lawler situation. And I want to now go on record as apologizing for that. I'm not proud of the way I handled it, but I still feel that at the time I was justified in what I said. You know, a lot of things in wrestling are portrayed to be a storyline. And at the time, I wasn't completely convinced that the Jerry Lawler thing was not just another storyline. As time passed, as more news came out, I realized it wasn't, and I felt bad for what I said. I was more than ecstatic this past week on Raw when Jerry finally returned to Raw. Do I think it still may have been a little bit too soon for him to come back? Yes. I think they should have waited a little bit longer. At least wait until they were in his hometown the next time, so that he could get that big hometown homecoming return. I was very happy to see him back. I applauded him. We all here in the casa got a little bit misty-eyed when he got back on the microphone and started talking. And then Punk came out. And everybody knows I'm a huge Punk fan. I still am. I'm not wavering my loyalties to him, whatever. One Nation under Punk. And I realized that it was all just storyline driven to get him more heat. But he didn't need more heat. Punk is the top heel in the company right now. And the WWE booking committee, I think, needs to be seriously reprimanded for the stunts that they requested that Phillip Brooks / CM Punk take this past Monday on Raw. He should not have interrupted the King. He should not have made fun of the King. Paul Heyman damn sure should not have faked a heart attack in front of the King. It was low, it was underhanded, it was unnecessary. Especially that soon. If you maybe wanted to make light of it a little bit down the road, I could maybe forgive that. But the night of his return to make fun of it, unnecessary. So to whoever on the booking committee and the writing staff came up with that idea, I hope y'all get fired. Seriously. I'm not going to put the blame onto Punk, because at the end of the day, he's just a pawn doing his job, collecting his paycheck. But whoever thought that that was a funny gimmick to do needs to be fired and possibly even blackballed from the wrestling community. Now, that being said, make sure you tune in tomorrow. Me and Statboy are going to be sitting here doing our predictions. I hope you enjoyed the girls' predictions yesterday. And until next time, we will see you here on the Casa 18 Studios channel.